G'day everyone, great to have your company once again on the NTFA Footy Show with thanks of course to DLM Machinery. Huge weekend of football coming up here in the NTFA. We'll take a look at all of that tonight. Our club in focus will be concentrating on the Hillwood Sharks, and their coach Jake Pearce will join us in the studio very shortly. We'll talk women's footy with Abby Green and also football around Tasmania. We're going to head over to King Island to review their grand final from last week and bring you up to speed on a big event coming down to North Hobart Oval on the 7th of October. We'll look at all the men's and women's footy as well. So plenty to get into tonight. But tonight's photo of the week, we're going to focus on the crowds in the NTFA. This was taken out at Longford last Sunday afternoon. The first week of the Premier Division finals has seen huge crowds. And that was, as I said, Longford last week. We anticipate there was a bit over 2,000 people there. Now, the Premier Division gate was up 25% on the corresponding first week of finals last year. So a great result. And in Division 1, the crowd numbers are up 20% on last year from where they were last year, this year from last year at the same time, getting tongue-tied. But in other words, big increase in crowds throughout the NTFA finals so far. So it all goes well for what will be an outstanding weekend of footy. We're going to take a look at that now. Firstly, in the Premier Division, the second semi-final, that is happening down at Bridgenorth, down at Parrot Park tomorrow. And 3 games to be played down there. It gets underway with the under-18s at 8:50 a.m. and South Launceston Bulldogs are going to be taking on Georgetown in the second semi, the winner to advance through to the grand final on the 16th. The reserves, it'll be Bridgenorth taking on South Launceston. That game is at 12:15 p.m. And then the seniors, this will be a beauty. Hillwood, who finished on top of the table, they're going to take on South Launceston at 2:30 p.m. These two sides, South haven't lost since round 6. Hillwood have had a tremendous season, and I think this will be an absolute beauty. The winner to go straight into the grand final. So much talent in both these teams. I'll tell you what, if you haven't got much to do tomorrow afternoon, make sure you head down to there. And we can also see coming up on Sunday, it is the first semi-final, and those matches are going to be played at Hillwood starting at 10 o'clock with the under-18s. St Pat's are going to take on Old Scotch. And then it'll be Longford versus Bracknell at 12 o'clock in the reserves. And that'll be followed by the seniors at 2 p.m. down at Hillwood. Rochalee, who went down to South Launceston last week, and Longford, who got up in an absolute nail-biter. Bracknell through the kitchen sink. It got to within, I think, 4 points in the last quarter, but the reigning premiers got home in the end. It is the end of the season for one of them. The winner will progress to meet the loser of Hillwood and South Launceston in the prelim next week. But it is a replay of last year's grand final. Rochalee and Longford, that is Sunday at Hillwood. It is preliminary final weekend in Division 1. We know Old Scotch are already through to the grand final. So tomorrow down at the magnificent Blue Gum Park in Georgetown, couple of games down there for the men. The reserves, that is at 12 p.m. St Pat's are going to take on Old Launcestonians. The winner will advance to the grand final next Saturday against Old Scotch. And in the seniors, well, St Pat's take on Lilydale. They met a couple of weeks ago. Lilydale kicked the first 7 goals of the game. St Pat's came home with a wet sail. And again, it was an absolute thriller. I think 4 points in the end. This should be a beauty down at Georgetown tomorrow. Old Scotch await the winner in the grand final. That will be next Saturday at UTAS Stadium. Leading goal kickers, of course, at the end of the roster season, we haven't brought you up to speed with those, so we're going to bring that up for you now. The leading goal kickers in the Premier Division for the men. Archie Wilkinson from Hillwood, he had a terrific season, finishing on 52. That'll be a great presentation because his dad, Jeremy, from Harcourts will be presenting that. Kicked 5 goals in that final game, did Archie, to win by 6 goals from Bracknell's coach, Corey Goodluck. He finished on 46. And Rochalee's Josh Holton, who I think is only about 5 goals away from 1,000 career goals. He has a chance to do that this weekend. He finished 3rd on 37. The leading goal kickers in Division 1, and it was Lilydale's Trent Griggs What a season he had, finishing on 71 goals for the season, well clear of Braden Claridge from St Pat's on 50, and a terrific season from a team that didn't make the finals back in the competition this year, and that was great to see. Matthew Taylor of Bridport finishing third on 48 goals. So well done to Trent Griggs and Archie Wilkinson taking out the leading goal kicker awards in that competition. Now, a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, we had the MVP for the NTFA. Now, there has been a little system glitch that has been picked up. So we have got a slight amendment to make. It doesn't affect the overall result of who our winner was. In Men's Division 1, we're talking about, with John McKenzie, of course, taking that out. But Alex Jordan of Evandale Football Club has actually finished tied for second with St Pat's Callum Harrison on 40 votes. So apologies for the error there. And we wanted to point out that Alex Jordan, who wasn't in that top three initially when the error was picked up, he has finished on 40, so equal second, both finishing 9 votes behind John McKenzie. William Haley finishing on 37 votes from the Perth Football Club. So we just wanted to point that out and ensure that everything is correct as you see there on your screens now. All right, we're going to take a quick break with thanks to Harrison Agents. We'll be back in a moment. Our Club in Focus, we catch up with Hillwood coach Jake Pearce.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Great to have your company on the NTFA Footy Show. It's time for our weekly Club in Focus with thanks to Harrison Agents. And we're getting down to the business end of the season, and the team that finished on top of the table in the Men's Premier Division is the Hillwood Football Club. The spotlight's on them this week, and it will be a big day coming up this Saturday afternoon down at Bridgenorth, and their coach has been good enough to join us. Jake, good to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, it's good, really exciting. So, yeah, awesome.
Good to have you on the show. It's been a terrific season, obviously, so far. We get into the second semi-final. You finished on top of the table, just a couple of losses and a draw. Was that your aim at the start of the year? What sort of goals did you set? Because you got a great list that's just developed really well.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, last year we started the season really well, and we fell off towards the back end of the year with a young group. So we reset some goals at the end of the year, was just to be more competitive and play, I suppose, 4 quarters of football. Boys, obviously, in the off-season took that really well, and we held on really well. We did the same start, and then we regrouped again halfway through the year and made sure that we finished off. So, it was really good. Our goal was mainly just to play finals. One final would have been excellent for the footy club, and yeah, which is exciting. So, yeah.
You've obviously got a great list. We'll run through a few photos of it as well. But just the 2 losses to Rocherlea back in round 12 and also South in round 13. 1 draw against Longford. That loss against South, it was by 7 goals. Of course, you're playing them this week. What did you learn from that? Where do you think you could rectify and change that?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we played them up there, and I thought we matched it well for the half. And then I think just a few of our personnel and things like that just went against us, and then they got on top. They're a quality side. You give them space. And I think a little bit of, we probably didn't respect them as much as we should have. And then after half time, they had that free flow of run and carry, and their ball users and their good players got on top. So we'll rectify that tomorrow, and we'll come to play.
They haven't lost since round 6. Obviously had the draw against Longford back in round 13. Neutral territory tomorrow too, down at Bridgenorth. They tell me it's in great nick, and it's a pretty big ground as well. You obviously don't get to play down there all that often, and neither do they. But what sort of proposition, what goes through your head with that, planning that you're actually going to a neutral ground?
Yeah, I don't think it. I think at the end of the day, we need to make sure, and I think Jay spoke in the paper pretty well. We both know how each other wants to play, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who plays their best footy for 4 quarters. So we're really looking forward to the challenge. We've trained really well the last couple of sessions. The intent's been high, and I think at the end of the day, if we can play our brand of football, it's going to be really exciting.
What's the buzz like in the small town of Hillwood? Because we've got to pick here. 2019 was your last premiership, of course. That was back down at Windsor Park then. But what's the town like at the moment?
It's been so exciting. There's been past players come down to the club, which has been really, really exciting. And even you walk through the people in the streets and they come up and say hello, and you've seen, a couple of years ago and things like that, which is really exciting. You do this for the community, and it is massive. So no, it's huge excitement, and yeah, it's awesome.
And from someone who's played at the highest level, of course, here in Tasmania, and going back to your old town of Hillwood, I mean, what's it been like for you as you've gradually built this list to now being in a stage where you're playing in a second semi? How pleasing is that?
Yeah, it's sometimes it gets a bit emotional talking about it, because you're right. When we did win that flag in 2019, a lot of players left for their reasons, which is understandable and all that kind of stuff. So we went back to the drawing board, and we knew what we had to recruit. We couldn't just go out and recycle these players. We had to make sure we got some kids that they had plenty of potential, and I think we've done that, which is really, really exciting for the footy club. So they've come into the club really well, and it's been really exciting. Yeah.
Talk about the club as a whole. The women's team made Div 1 finals this year. For them, they obviously got beaten by, and there we got a pick there, but they got beaten by Georgetown in the first week of the finals. But what has the women's team, and I guess the growth of what's that done for the club?
Oh, it's been massive. I can't really put it into words how much the women's football club has really helped us progress. As not just a football club, but as a community. They're down every Thursday night, and obviously they went through a bit of a patch where they weren't playing, as many games of football. They were having a couple of buys here and there, but their commitment on the track and obviously Smokey, the coach, to get them on board and things like that was a huge credit. They're behind the scenes you don't see, and they're always supporting us at dinners and Thursday nights and stuff like that, and it's huge, and they're a huge pillar of our footy club. And
the success of the club, but not only the success on the field, but off the field, where you see where the club's at. You've got great depth, a lot of players, good numbers, a women's team that's just continuing to grow and evolve. With the future of football that's being proposed, puts Hillwood in a pretty good spot to, I guess, in terms of looking at where they may want to play in terms of the competition. But for you, again, having played at the highest level and the changes that are going to happen, how much does that excite you, being part of a club with how the competition's going to evolve over the next 18 months?
Yeah, true. It's a bit undecided, I suppose, what's happening. But when I took on the job, I wanted to make sure that I kept challenging blokes. So we recruited a couple of guys from TSL clubs and things like that. I don't want them to come back to, a country club and just kind of, go through the motions. I still want to make sure I'm challenging them both on and off the field. That's what my experience was at North, and I took that really well. So if I can incorporate that back at Hillwood, I think it'll go a long way for our success moving forward.
Just finally, the Carrot, obviously, UTAS Stadium in a couple of weeks on the 16th of September. How special will that be? Obviously, you played a lot of footy there over your career, but with the growth of the NTFA, I think we saw 6,500 there last year when Longford broke that premiership drought. But how much of an incentive is that for your team tomorrow to try and get in there straight away?
Oh, it's very exciting. It's obviously you want to be playing on the best grounds in Tassie in this time of year, and it's definitely one of the best grounds in Tasmania. And I think we probably lost a little bit of respect losing a couple, dropping down the bottom of the ladder. So I think now it's really good time to put our best foot forward, and I think the guys are really excited to play in that last day, I suppose, in September or whatever it is. It's just really exciting for the group, and it's a really, really good buzz.
Well, it's probably fair to say you could almost throw a blanket over the top four in particular. That's how even the competition has been throughout the course of the year. I think it was only a win and a half between the fourth. So Rochalie Longford's obviously going to be a cracker, but I know tomorrow it should be an absolute beauty down at Bridgenorth. Good to have you on, Jake. Well done on the season to date. Wish you well tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Jake Pearce joining us from the Hillwood Footy Club. Quick break. We'll be back with women's footy after the break.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
into the business end of finals now. With thanks to Cleanaway, time to look at women's footy. We've had a weekend of finals already last week, and Deloraine, the first team into the grand final. Abby Green joins me. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Rick.
Fighting fit and ready for a big weekend?
Absolutely. It's footy finals time and I'm super excited.
Good. You should be. We'll talk about your game very shortly, but we need to say a big congratulations to Deloraine. We've spoken a bit about them over the last half of the season in particular, but what a win for them last week, beating top of the table Meander to get through the grand final.
Isn't it brilliant? Look, it was a match we were looking forward to all year. They had the draw, I think it was earlier in the season, and Meander obviously undefeated throughout the journey, and then Deloraine come in and they managed to knock them off, and now they're into the granny.
Yeah, it's amazing. Brad Powell's done an amazing job with this team over the course of their development throughout the year, so they've got the weekend off. No doubt they're going to be heading down to probably Blue Gum Park and checking out the prelim, because Meander now have to take on Georgetown.
They do. Exciting times for Georgetown, but also Meander, they'll be fuel in the fire. They'll be ready to go. So it's going to be a good head out. And yeah, we could imagine Deloraine are going to be heading down there, getting their game plan ready.
Indeed. And look, and Georgetown beating Hillwood the previous week as well. I mean, Georgetown finishing fourth, Meander finished on top, and they're playing in a prelim. It just shows,
absolutely,
no matter what happens during the course of the season, finals is a different kettle of fish.
It is, but it's exciting, and that's what you want during this time of the year.
Absolutely. Georgetown playing at home as well. So with
they've got the upper hand.
So they have got that, and it is an unbelievable surface down there. So it's going to be a challenge, but Meander have been the best team all year.
Absolutely.
I would expect them to bounce back.
You would.
And there are the details. So Blue Gum Park tomorrow at 10:20 should be an absolute beauty down there, and with the beautiful weather we're experiencing at the moment, I'm sure there's going to be a pretty big crowd down for the Div 1 finals tomorrow.
Absolutely, and we wish them both the best, and next week we'll discuss the results.
We will. And now across the river at Bridgenorth.
Yes.
This is your big game. Massive day tomorrow, of course, taking on Bridgenorth. Undefeated, the Parrots, during the course of the season.
Yes.
They've been the best team, obviously, all year. But
absolutely.
How are you feeling?
Look, I'm really excited. The girls have, the past 6 weeks have been quite remarkable in terms of the build-up into finals. We started the season slow, but we've started to find our momentum, and we've got our players in. We're fit, we're ready. But also credit to Bridgenorth. They're undefeated. We know how strong they are. Putting my coaching hat off and my playing hat off, this is the game I'm so excited to see, because two solid teams fighting it off, first, second. It's going to be a great game. So if you're around, get down and watch it.
Indeed. Interested in your thoughts on because it's a top four. So in theory, the winner had last week off.
Yes.
The winner tomorrow will get another week off. So 2 games of footy in a month. Do you see that as even maybe a disadvantage, or do you think at this time of year, after a long year, you really want to take that, obviously having the certainty of being in the grand final? But what's your thoughts on that?
So mixed emotions about it. In terms of Old L's game style, we have had players coming in and out of the season all year. I personally would have liked to have some more games under the belt so we could really gel. We're fortunate enough that we have put in the extra work, and on the week off, we've done some extra training. I know Bridgenorth have too. So I think you kind of want the games under your belt. But in terms of us, it would be nice to just go straight through and then have that week off to really reconnect and gel and get ready for the big one. But either way, I'm not fussed.
Well, it's going to be a beauty, and full credit to Bobby Beams and the team and what they've done down at Bridgenorth. It's a terrific football club.
It is.
Their men's and women's are doing great things. Their change rooms and club rooms, they thoroughly deserve to be playing down there tomorrow, because I know it's divided opinions in terms of taking a final to Bridgenorth. But their reserves, their women's, but also their facilities have been upgraded. It's going to be a great day, and I'm sure a big crowd down there. The dangers, of course, Emily McKinnell and Courtney Sharman, 63 goals between them during the course of the season, are going to be a huge threat.
They are indeed, but you know, that's footy for you. Hopefully we can combat that and limit their goal scoring opportunities, but you know, we'll see what happens.
We will.
Yep.
It's going to be a great day. All right, we're going to wrap it up and just check the leading goal kickers for season 2023 in the Premier Division Women. And firstly, in the Division 1 competition, Cleo Creswell from Meander, I think she kicked 11.
She did.
2 or 3 weeks ago as well. So she's taken it out on 34 goals from Phoebe Barnett of Deloraine, 28, and Shannon Crawford from Meander as well on 19. So well done to Cleo. She's had a great year, a couple of real big bags. I think she might have kicked double figures on at least a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I remember we talked about she kicked 9 one week and then she kicked 11 during the week before. And my mind was just blown. That's remarkable.
Yep, it's a brilliant performance. And in the Premier Division, Emily McKinnell, of course, took out the MVP award, but also the goal kicking.
Look at that.
Look at you, Abby. There you are. Second place, but 27 goals behind.
27. That's not bad, is it? The race was well and truly on for second, but congratulations to Emily. She can kick him from anywhere.
She can. She's had a great year. And, she'll be no doubt looking forward to playing on her home turf tomorrow. Courtney Sharman of Bridgenorth also on 17, and then Daisy Blunston on 17 as well for OL, so
Done
tied
well.
for third. So all our leading goal kickers are going to receive all their awards at the NTFA Annual Awards Night, which is coming up on the 7th of October, which will be a great night. We're going to have Matthew Richardson there as well,
You're
so we're
kidding.
going to have a great night.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
There you
I
go.
didn't know. Fan favourite.
You better try and get an invite with your club.
Oh.
I'm sure you'll be there.
Yep, I'll be there.
Good luck tomorrow. It's going to be a
Thank
great
you.
weekend, and we'll obviously have a big preview to the Division 1 Grand Final next week on the show, because that'll be next Saturday. And very pleased to say that the team here at the NTFA Footy Show are going to be live streaming all of the Grand Finals. So that's going to be very exciting.
Very good.
We can't wait for that one. So next Saturday, we'll have all the details as well on how you can get your tickets. The exciting part is the online tickets, only $10 for an adult, and kids under 16 are free. So you can we'll put the links up. That's pretty good value. The price is staying the same as last year.
Lovely.
All right, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks, Rick.
All right, that is women's footy. With thanks to Cleanaway, we'll be back shortly with footy around Tasmania.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back to the NTFA Footy Show. Time for football around Tasmania, and we are going just off the mainland of Tasmania with thanks to Crafty Cuts Little Rivers Brewing Company. We're heading to King Island. Massive day there last week, of course, with the grand final. And Jan van Rooswijk has been good enough to join us from the island and give us a bit of his time. He's basically Mr. King Island. Welcome, Jan. Good to have you with us, mate. How are you?
Thank you very much for that, Rick. Yeah, pretty good, thanks.
Another great season, another season over, but what a magnificent day it was for King Island football. We got a few photos will pop up as well from both the seniors and, of course, the juniors, but looked like a great day and a good crowd. And, of course, Grassy coming away with their third premiership in a row.
Yeah, that's more or less made history for them because they've never done that before. So in the whole time that they've been part of the association, so they were pretty chuffed about that.
I bet they were. And you can see some of the spectators there on the hill. And in context, Emmett, like, does the majority of the island come to the day, Jan? Is this a big day for King Island?
Yeah, it is a pretty big day. It is a pretty big day overall. And I just tried to get a bit of a rough count. And I reckon we would have had somewhere around about 350 at the game.
Fantastic.
But then by the time you include players and support staff and that, it might be touching more around the 400 mark.
Yeah, great. And look, the day itself, the Jim Sartori medal, of course, awarded to the best player on the ground. Tristan Forrest of Grassy taking that out. Must have had a pretty good game.
Yeah, no, he took it out. He took it out comfortably. So yeah, he ended up with 28 votes. So no, sorry.
Wow.
He ended up with 23 votes for the day, and his nearest rival was a teammate in Dale Reid, and he had just 9 votes.
There you go. Great performance from Tristan. And now this is pretty significant as well. Justin Summers took out the Keating medal for the best player in the comp. Now, am I right in saying this is the 7th time he's won it?
Yes, it is.
That's extraordinary.
He's an unbelievable club player, Rick. He just seems to be a bit of a ball magnet. He's got some beautiful skills. He reads the play really well. And even after the Keating medal, I said, "How come you haven't gone and played somewhere else?" And he said, "I just haven't been interested in doing it." So
There you go. Loves
Which
the
is a
island too
shame,
much
really.
and playing with his mates.
Yeah.
Junior Grand Final. Now, this was an absolute thriller, wasn't it? Combined Curry North team won on the last kick of the day against Grassy. That must have been a great spectacle for everyone.
It was on a shoestring because we were watching it and we thought at any stage the siren was going to go, and Grassy were just that little bit in front, and Grassy kicked the goal. There was a point kicked by the Curry North side, and they kicked it out, and we thought that was it. But Curry were able to get it back in, and Matthew Button just grabbed the ball and he stuck his boot in it, and I'll be blowed if it didn't roll through the goals. Wow. And it must have been right on the death knock because the ball went back to the centre, and then the siren blew. So
incredible!
It's amazing.
Would have been a brilliant spectacle. Just the last question. Obviously, we see with the juniors there that everyone wears helmets, and we don't see that in junior football down here where it's not compulsory. Is this something compulsory that's come into the association in recent times?
We made it compulsory, and we've been doing it for 12 years now. Right. I think we have been.
Yep.
It was something that was brought up because we have little kids playing with big kids.
Yes.
And it was felt that we should act responsibly and do that. And we also make any junior that plays also has to wear a helmet in the seniors.
Okay.
So they can't do away with a helmet until after they're not eligible for seniors anymore.
There we go. No, thank you for explaining. It makes total sense with that age gap in particular that obviously not blessed with over there, having age groups going like under 8s, 10s, 12s, 14s, etc. So that explains, because I know a lot of people are interested to know the story behind that. But look, Jan, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on what you and the other volunteers do, because it's a small island, but it's a historic football island, and every year you deliver. And it looks like you had a fantastic day over there. So well done, and enjoy the off season. I guess now it's back to all the farming duties and work for you, mate. Get a bit of peace on weekends.
Yeah, and then we've got to start thinking about the horse race season now.
Of course you do too. It doesn't stop on King Island.
All right.
Good on you.
So
Jan.
thank you very much, Rick.
Pleasure to have you. Jan van Rooswijk, of course, Mr. King Island, does an outstanding job with the Football Association down there. Now, before we go, this is coming up very soon. It is the Relive the Rivalry coming up, and this is going to be unbelievable because have a look at the names that are coming over for the Tasmania versus Victorian All-Stars game at the magnificent North Hobart Oval, 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 7th of October. There's going to be the Women's Challenge game as well, the Northern Suburbs team taking on the Huon. That's at 11:30. James Wiggins doing an unbelievable job with the talent he's got. Have a look at some of those faces. Favola, Lake, Holland. We've got also Darren Pritchard, 3-time Tasmanian captain and also a 3-time premiership player with the Hawthorn Football Club. Of course, Darryl White, who's a regular and great supporter of the game. Grant Birchall is going to be playing as well, a 4-time Hawthorn Premiership player. Leon Davis, and of course, Mitch Robinson coming back home, of course, after his great career with Carlton and the Brisbane Lions. So it's going to be a great day. Put it in your diaries and do yourself a favour. Get down there to North Hobart Oval. It will be a spectacular day. All right, well, that's about all we've got time for. Don't forget, we're also going to be live streaming the NTFA Best and Fairest Awards. That will be next Sunday, the 10th of September for Division 1 from 1 p.m. And the following Sunday, it will be the Premier Division Best and Fairest. Live vote counts, so make sure you join us for that. But we'll be back next week with a big bumper edition for the Division 1 Grand Final. We hope you can join us then. With thanks to DLM Machinery. Enjoy your footy. We'll catch you next week.